Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. We've been going around the world showing how the U.S. has been, the Obama-Hillary Clinton foreign policy has been taking a beating in many of these situations, the empire crumbling and perhaps in some places imploding especially at the outer limits of imperialist power. But now let's take time out as usual to check up on the constitutional defense front and the question of, do you want to have a president who's blackmailable because he can't produce a birth certificate and may well be somebody who lost his citizenship to Indonesia later in his life? And for this, of course, we go as usual to Philadelphia and the distinguished founder of this entire issue back in August of 2008, and that's Phil Berg. Welcome, Phil.
My pleasure to be on your show. I think more and more people are becoming interested in the fact that Obama's status, whether he's constitutionally eligible to be president, especially since the passage of the health care bill. I guess it's called health care, but we can call it Obamacare. And we don't have a date yet. We're working on getting permit, but we're going to have soon, in May or June, we're going to have a birth certificate eligibility Obamacare march on Washington. And I think we'll be able to attract lots and lots of people. And people are really getting frustrated with Obama because he talks out of both sides of his mouth. And people are concerned, like, why has he just talked about student loans, and why is he just talking now about offshore drilling? He's trying to get the attention away from the health care bill. The health care bill is, I believe, unconstitutional. It's forcing the U.S. government is forcing people to buy something, and that's totally wrong. But Obama doesn't care because he's totally wrong. He's a fraud. He's a phony. He's a usurper. He taught constitutional law for 10 years. He knows that he is not qualified to be president of the United States. And since the courts are taking their time, we're hoping that the public comes out to support this march on Washington and basically saying, here, we're legitimate. Here's our birth certificates. Show us yours or resign from office. And we're going to do everything in our power. We're getting phone calls now from people in the Tea Parties. We're getting phone calls from individuals all around the country who are really fed up with Obama, people that supported him in the past. And they're saying, the new people are coming to us and saying, well, what's the story here? I said, well, the story is very simple. Obama has never produced documentation showing he's constitutionally eligible to be president, and therefore everything he's doing is voidable. That's crucial because when it's found out that he has no right to be in that office, everything, including this health care bill, will have to be thrown out. And the other day I was talking to an attorney in Houston, Texas, about a case, but then we started talking about Obama. Then he related to me how a certain judge had handled an estate case and awarded millions of dollars, and it finally came out that he had a conflict of interest in the case because of some reasons, and so they therefore removed him from that case and therefore made all of his prior decisions voidable. So that's what we're doing here, and I think it's crucial. Think of what Obama has done. And like I say, I really don't like to get into the issues, but you can't help it. I mean, what he did with Netanyahu from Israel, I think, was outrageous. There was no photo sessions with him, no joint session, and he actually left him in a room so he could go have dinner with his wife, and you don't do something like that. I mean, I'm not saying everything right is Israel, but the United States needs Israel, and Israel needs the United States. But basically, we need Israel in the Middle East. If we didn't have that that area there supporting us, we could lose the whole Middle East. So Obama just doesn't care. I think the reason is he does care. He's a Muslim, and he's doing what he has to do to send this country down the drink. And it's time that we stood up. So I need everyone out there. I'm going to plead with him again. Go to ObamaCrimes.com, ObamaCrimes.com, and spread it to everyone in your address book and ask them to spread it on and on and on. And we'll have the details of the march there very shortly. Well, the details, there's 2 cases still pending out of our 3, but the most significant case is in the D.C. Court of Appeals, because that case deals with false claims or qui tem. We're alleging in that case that Obama is not only not natural born, he's not naturalized, but he's an illegal alien. Therefore, the salary and benefits he's received as a U.S. senator must be returned to the U.S. Treasury, totaling about $1 million. And that's significant, and obviously, if he can't be a U.S. senator, he can't be president. So, and the significance also in that case, that type case, false claims for quitem, has already been up to the U.S. Supreme Court, and the person bringing that action, called a relator, which I am in this case, has standing. So that's why we decided to move on with this case, and we're doing everything in our power now to try to attract other people. And I think we're going to have the support of the U.S. So we can have a peaceful revolution, because, Webster, if we don't have a peaceful revolution and this stuff keeps going on, I'm afraid we're going to have an armed revolution down the pike, and that would not be good.
Well, I think we're quite far from that right now, but I certainly we want to have a political mobilization, because that's what we need, not anything else. Let me ask you one, Phil. The question of standing has always been the big stumbling block. Now, I think on the Huffington Post, we have a doctor in the United States Army. He's an officer, and he's got almost 20 years of service, and he's been ordered to go to Afghanistan, and he refuses to go. And
well, first off, we must verify that that's legit. Unfortunately, many times things come up on the Internet that is not legit. Also, he has some connection to Orly Tate, so I question it, because she had two military people before that were supposedly objecting to go. But when you look at their what they did, those two prior individuals had said they were conscientious objectors. So far, this new person hasn't said. We'll have to see what happens with it, if he's legit. And if he is legit, I give him a lot of credit for standing his ground, and we'll see what happens. But that's one avenue here, and I don't know if they'll do it, because he's subjecting himself to court-martial. But that's why we need this peaceful revolution as soon as we announce it and have everyone come to Washington. Can you imagine 2 million people coming to Washington with a copy of their birth certificate demanding Obama to show his or resign from office? It's not out of the realm, because remember, Nixon went down not on the break-in at the Watergate. He went down on the cover-up. Well, we now have Obama in office now for 15 months, and what do we have? We have a massive cover-up. You don't spend over $1.6 million fighting our lawsuits, my 3 and the other 50 lawsuits that came about, unless you're hiding something. And the question is, what is he hiding? And it's obvious what he's hiding. He's hiding the fact that he is not constitutionally eligible to be president. And I think the American public can do something about this, and I plan to have the vehicle to do it, and we will see what happens on this.
Obama's position at that prayer breakfast some weeks ago was, I appeal to you not to question my legitimacy and my citizenship and my faith. And, of course, the answer to that is, well, simply produce the documentation, and this entire issue dissolves, and the issue goes away.
Right, and I think by him saying that, I think it's getting hot around him. It was also mentioned just the other day in NBC, I think Today Show interview, about questioning his citizenship. Yes, we are questioning your citizenship. We are questioning if you're constitutionally eligible, because you are the laughing stock of the world. And while you're doing this, your programs here are disaster for the people of this great nation. And the American public is not going to stand for it. I mean, listen, if the program was that good, number one, why would he and the entire executive branch, the entire Congress, exempt himself from the program? That's number one. Number two, why would he be out talking about the program if it was that good? He's trying to sell something that's not saleable. It concerns me the fact in there is about the private army he can establish. And people say, why is that really there? Yes, it's there. I don't know the section in front of me. But there's so many things in this. But please, everyone, and when the show is over, go to your website, go to your computer, and put in obamacrimes.com and send it on to everyone in your address book. And together, we can uphold the U.S. Constitution.
Okay, Phil, thanks very much, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
We'll be back in a minute on World Crisis Radio.